Hello everyone. Today we are going to see about a transaction. Basically, the transaction is having five states. It will enters into the active state, and it will be either failed or partially committed. And then the partially committed will be moved to the committed state. Then the failed state will be moved to the aborted state. Then end. This is the five basic steps in transactions in database management systems. Here the active state is the first state of every transaction. In this state the transaction is being executed. For example, insertion or deletion or updation of a record is done here, but all the records are still not saved to that database. Then partially committed. In the partially committed state, a transaction executes its final operation, but the data is still not saved to the database. In the total mark calculation example, a final display of the total mark step is executed in this state. Then committed state. A transaction is said to be committed in a committed state if it executes all its operations successfully. Then all the effects are now permanently saved on the database system. Then failed state. If any of the checks made by the database recovery system fails, then the transaction is said to be in the failed state. In example of the total mark calculation, if the database is not able to fire a query to fetch the marks, then the transaction will fail to execute. Then final state is aborted state. If any of the checks fails and the transaction has reached a failed state, then the database recovery system will make sure that the database is in its previous consistent state or not. Then the operations of the aborted state will be restart the transaction. Restart means it will first enter into the start state and followed by the another state, that means partially committed or committed or failed state. Then it will kill the transaction, otherwise it will permanently stop the entire transaction. These are the states of the database management system. Thank you.